Hey, good morning, it's Owen Bigland. This is the Inside Edge video blog. Well, you can never underestimate the power of the internet and social media for that matter. I started this video blog just under 2 years ago, and I'm actually blown away by the response that I've gotten so far. I guess some people are connecting with what I have to say and learning some things, so that's great. What I didn't anticipate was my video blogs are starting to get syndicated now by a number of other financial planning and real estate blogs and websites. So they're taking my videos, posting them on their sites, and then of course other sites are then taking them and posting them to their sites. So it's like a snowball effect. So it's giving me a lot more exposure, it's got my name out there a lot more, and so that's great, I'm humbled by it. What it's also starting to do is I'm starting to get a lot more requests from media outlets to comment on what's happening in Vancouver real estate and just real estate in general. Magazines, newspapers, internet, radio sites are starting to contact me and want my opinion on things. Now, a lot of these media outlets, they all kind of ask the same basic questions of me. And the first thing they usually ask is, what's the outlook for real estate? Real estate in Vancouver or real estate in general? And my answer has never changed over the last 22 years. It's always been the same. The long-term outlook, long-term, for real estate is fantastic. There's no other product out there that keeps increasing in demand every year, but they don't make the product anymore. They stopped building land a long time ago. So when you have increased demand and a fixed supply, over the long term, it's always going to go up. Now, they usually then say, well, what about this year? What about short term, 2013? I tell them, I'm not a fortune teller. I'm a realtor. I'm a marketer. 80% of my business is selling and marketing homes for my clients. What the real estate market's going to do in the short term doesn't matter to me or my clients. It's irrelevant. You need a home to live in. You should always look at real estate with a long-term horizon. So what it does day to day or month to month doesn't matter, and I don't get into fortune telling. So their third question now is, and this is the same way it goes, is, well, if you were working with clients right now, let's say a young couple with 2 kids, would you recommend they buy a house in 2013 in today's economic climate? And I tell them, well, it depends. I refer them back to a video blog I did last year. You can go onto my website entitled, Is Now a Good Time to Buy? And I list 3 important criteria. If you meet them, then it's an absolutely great time to buy. Criteria number 1 is, do you have a need? Do you want to buy a house right now? For most people, the answer is yes, but for some people, maybe not. I mean, some people might be living in their basement and with their parents, with their ping pong table and their beer and their Bon Jovi posters on the wall, and they're not paying any rent. They got a pretty good deal there, so there's no real need yet. But if you've got a need, you've got a growing family, you need some place to live, you need a roof over your head. That's the nice thing about real estate. Unlike other investments like stocks, real estate is tangible. You can use it, enjoy it, it's shelter. So that's the first reason. Do you have a need or a want to buy right now? The second thing is do you have a long-term horizon? I've been saying this for years on my blog here. You need to have at least an 8 to 10 year horizon. Real estate, that's where all the magic happens after 8 to 10 years. In the short term, markets can go up and down. It's normal. In the long term though, 8 years and over, you're going to do absolutely fine. So you always have to have a long-term horizon on it. Now, if a client comes to me and says, Owen, I want you to help me find a condo in Yaletown, by the way, I think I'm planning on living in it for 2 to 3 years, and then I'm planning on moving out to Ontario to meet up with my girlfriend who's finishing school. I tell them you're better off to rent. Just stay renting for now. If you've only got a 3-year horizon, markets can go up and down. Don't be surprised if the market's down 10% for Yaletown 2 years or 3 years from now. Just rent. The third and final thing is can you afford it? And that's probably one of the most critical ones there. Can you afford to buy that house? We're at record low interest rates right now, but can you afford to buy it and leave yourself a little bit of a buffer there? You don't want to be squeezing out every last penny to get into your first condo or your first home. Because everything will increase in price as you go on. You're always going to have repairs. If you're in a condo, your maintenance fees are going to go up every year like clockwork. Interest rates really have no place to go but up from here. I mean, if you talk to most economists, I think we're going to be living in a low interest rate environment for quite a while. But they are expecting those interest rates to slowly start creeping up. We're not going to be getting into 22% like we had in the 80s, but we could be looking at 4.5% interest and mortgage interest a year or a year and a half from now. So leave yourself a bit of a buffer there. If you meet those three criteria, then I tell these media outlets, then absolutely, it's a great time to buy. We're in a buyer's market for 2013. Might not be as strong of a buyer's market as we had last year, but real estate when purchased in a buyer's market always tends to do better than real estate bought in a seller's market. So not a bad time to buy. So that's the way I leave it. But short term, I have no idea what it's going to do, but it's irrelevant anyways. So I'm Owen Bigland. Hope you learned something. And again, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.